So in this video, we are continuing our DOM manipulation series. In last video, we learned how to access DOM elements. In this video, we are going to learn how to modify element content. Before learning how to modify element content, let's first understand why modifying element content matters. So dynamic content is a key aspect of modern web development. Instead of displaying static information, you can use JavaScript to update the content of elements such as paragraphs, headings, and images. This enables you to provide a more personalized and interactive experience for the users. So basically, whenever you need to modify some content dynamically without going to HTML file and then hard code the data, you can use DOM manipulation for that. In this video, we will see some real life code examples which will make you understand it better, that why we are learning this and how we can use this in our real life, and it will make you pro in modifying element content. So let's just get started, and in this video let me first tell you that we are going to cover majorly 2 or 3 methods of modifying content dynamically, which are more oftenly used and they are the most important one. First one that we cover will be the inner HTML, second will be the text content, and also we will see how to modify or how to change images dynamically. So let's just start with the text content property first. Text content method first. So the text content property gets or sets the text content of an element excluding any HTML tag. So it only manipulates your element text content. Basically, it does not changes or added or remove any HTML tag. For example, it does not add any p tag, h1 tag. It can only just manipulate the content inside these tags. It treats all content as plain text regardless of whether it contains HTML tag. And this property is useful when you want to work specifically with the text content. So yeah, because it can only work with that, so it is specifically for only text content manipulation, not for HTML tag manipulation. So let's just straight jump into the examples, and on your screen I have opened my VS Code editor and browser side by side. Let's first start with the text content, and we will see some practical examples which will make you more comfortable and which will make you more understanding, which will clear your fundamentals about this. So I am creating a JS file, index.js, and our first example will be it will be basically button triggered text change. Basically, how can you change your text, change the text using button triggers? For example, I am writing here, I am pasting one code snippet there, which is something like this. This is p tag, and I have given an ID dynamic paragraph, and there is a button that has an ID known as change button. So basically what I need to do is, whenever I click on this button, I need to change the content of the paragraph, and I want to show anything. For example, I want to show that I am dynamic paragraph. Right here I have written this is dynamic paragraph, but after click on the button, it will show you that I am dynamic paragraph. So what's the first step of modifying content dynamically? It is very simple and logical that you need to access it first. Without accessing, how can you modify elements? So using our previous knowledge from previous tutorial, let's first just select our paragraph. So I am here selecting my paragraph, accessing my paragraph, and I am going document, and I am doing it using document.getElement by ID, because I have already given the ID, and ID which I have given the ID as dynamic paragraph. So here I will give the dynamic. You can copy and paste also, but for beginners I am just doing it hard coding. And you also need to select change button. So const change button. You can name your variable anything. It doesn't need to be grammatically or spelling correct. You can name it anything. Document, and here I want to use query selector for adding some more fun, and for showing you the versatility of query selector, I have already given the ID. I will just use hashtag, and here my ID is change button. I will just Control C it and V, paste it there. Now what's the next step? I have accessed my elements. Now I want to show it on my web page. First just save this. It will reflect on my web page. It is doing nothing there, right? I am clicking it. It is doing nothing right now. I am not doing any CSS there, because the main motive of this video is to learn how to modify content, not how to design content, right? Or look it better. So now next step will be adding a click event listener. to the button. So you have to add a click listener to the adding to this button. Whenever you click on the button, this paragraph should get changed. So who will take the event listener? Who will take the click event listener? It will be the button. So here I have named my button as change button. It is not this. This is the variable where I have access. So change button dot add event listener. You are already familiar with this events. If you already covered the JavaScript part, if you are not familiar with this, please go and read what are the events and how do we use events. So add event listener dot change button dot add event listener, click. This is the event type, and there is a callback function which will be fired whenever this change button will be clicked. And what I need to do, I need to change my paragraph content. So here I am again doing operation on my paragraph which I have selected above. I have accessed above paragraph dot text content. This is important. Whenever you need to modify your text content, you use the property as text content. And further, when we learn about inner HTML, we will do like dot inner HTML, but I will introduce in future. Let's just leave it now. And what I need to do, I need to do hello, I am dynamic bro. Okay, sorry for the typing, my keyboard is not working well, I don't know. So now it should work now. It will not work because I haven't linked it yet. So I will link my JavaScript file index.js. Now it is ready to go. Now see, whenever I click this, it will change to hello, I am dynamic bro. Whenever I change, it will not return to its original position because we have only added the event listener to change it to something. We are not here managing state, we are just doing it for one time. So this was your first example of button trigger text change. Whenever you want to trigger the change or manipulate the text content using button, you can use this. Sometimes you need input driven text update. Basically, when I type something in my input, it should be shown somewhere or it should be shown in real time effort. So it is very useful. It gets more useful when you use in real life examples. Here I am only showing you a basic example, but in future we will deal with some real life examples also. So I need to do some modification in my HTML file. I am leaving it there for your reference. So what I am doing in my HTML file, I am making an input which type is text. Okay, you can give any type, you can give number or anything, but here I am using a type text, and I am giving an ID. Let's just leave ID for now, and we will use the versatility of query selector. You can use ID, you can use class name, anything, and placeholder we are giving it as type here. Okay, now what you need to do is, basically I am making a div in which I have my output there. I will show my output there. Whatever I am typing there, it will be shown there, right? So I am giving an ID to this, and it is output. Right now there is a text, and like I am typing here Piyush, it should be shown me somewhere there, right, in my div. So what I need to do is, first and foremost, you need to select access your HTML elements. So here I am accessing my elements. Const input is equals to document dot query selector. It will give me the first input, and it is an HTML tag, so it is helping me in accessing this. Now what I need to do, I need to access this output also, this div also. So const output div is equals to document dot query selector, and I am using query selector because I like it more than another, and it is output. Right now output, I have accessed my both elements which I need to modify or use in my modification. So now what's the next step? Next step will be modifying this, right? Basically what I need to do is, I will type in this input, and this will be printed in output div. So what I can do there is, I will do nothing. I will just do input dot add event listener. And what type of listener will it be? It will be input type of listener. Whenever input is changing, it will quickly change your output also. and it will fire event as soon as your input changes. So basically, in one line, what is use of this input type at event listener? Whenever your input changes, it will quickly fire that event listener, and you will get back your result, whatever you are defining in your this console, this callback function. So basically, what I need to do when event is fired, I need to do output div dot text content is equals to this input, right? So I am defining this input, right? Now see what will happen. Whenever I type there Piyush, I should get it there, but I am not getting it there. Why? Because I have only assigned the input, but I want this value, the value inside the input, the text inside the input. Now you will see that whenever I type there, I should get it there. Why I am not getting there? We have overdone something. I think there is some selecting problem. Okay, so yeah, there is some selecting problem. Basically, it should be input query selector, and it should be hashtag. I hope so. Yes, and output div I have selected it properly. Output query selector output. Okay, it's fine. Okay, hashtag I am using hashtag also. In my input.event listener, I am assigning it an input event listener, and there is a callback function also, and there is output div.text content equal to input.value. Let's just see it there. It is not working. Why it is not working? Add event listener cannot read the properties of add event listener. I think it should work now. Yes, basically we were having to add event listener, and because we are not using this, we are not getting this paragraph anymore, and this change button, this was creating error. So this was the right. We have ignored the fact that we have some code, pre-code written there, right? So yeah, so basically this is how input driven text update works. Now, two examples. We have covered two examples. It's time for the third example and more interesting example. Now it's time to explore one more example, which is very, very interesting, and it is very close to real life example. So basically you have seen some random code generators or maybe random joke generators in your real life, where some random code comes whenever you click on a button, a random code or a random joke comes on your screen. So how does it work? Actually, it is also work by the DOM manipulation. So you can see the potential and the magic of DOM manipulation. In this tutorial, we are going to use hard-coded codes. We are not fetching it from any API, but you can fetch them from any API. I am not doing this because it will increase tutorial length unnecessarily, and I know you can fetch them, or I will try to make a project where I will show you how to fetch data from an API properly and easily. So for now, let's just see how we can show these codes on our screen, browser screen, and we will add a button where you will click, where user can click and get random codes. For now, we have 3 codes, so we will get random code from out of these 3. We can have 30, 3000, anything. For example, we are only taking codes, so you can add your own also. So first thing we need to do, or we have done here, is in my HTML file, I have done nothing. I am only defined a div with the code generator ID. Now what I will do, I will also give a div button. So inside this, I am taking a 1p, which what will it do? It will do nothing, but it will hold our codes. So codes will go there. For now, code, because a single code going to show at a time, and there going a button. And button will have an ID, which will be, let's just give it button. An ID should be ID हमने button ही दे दिया. So and inside button it is going to be show random code. Now what you need to do next is go to your index file and access these 3 things in your script file. So what I will do, I will go to my index.js and I will access them, because we have already accessed and learned how to access. For making this quick, I have pasted it there. Just a quick, yes. So we have accessed our code container using our ID, which is code container. We have accessed our paragraph tag, where our code going to show by ID, and we have also selected our quote button by ID. Now we have the quotes, we have our buttons accessed. Our next challenge will be that how we can get quotes randomly from this. So basically in JavaScript you have learned about the random math.floor and math.random. So we will going to use this. Basically what we are going to do, we are going to add an event listener to our quote, which is which is basically your so in your button you are going to add an event listener, button.add event listener, and this event listener, this is going to be a click type, and in your arrow function you are going to do something more, right? What you're going to do, we are going to define a variable which is random index. And what will this random index do? You will do math.floor. Basically what does math.floor do? It basically gives you an integer, not a decimal or any other number. And you will also have math.random, and this math.random will be used with our quotes array. So yes, quotes.length, right? This is how we use our math.random. If you already read in JavaScript, if not, then you need to work on your JavaScript skills first. Now what you will do, quote.text content, because this quote is going to hold the quote content, so we are manipulating the quote content. And what is going to have is quotes and random index. Basically we are getting it from array. Quotes is an array, and for our index, like we access array by I index, like 1 index, 2 index or 3 index, we are getting a random index. Now what will happen there is a show random quote. Whenever you click on this, you will be getting an array out of this. This time I got this is third array. When I click on it again, you get the first array. When you click on, you again get the third. Again, now it's second, now it's third, now it's second, now it's first. So this is how your random quote works. You can use API also, or you can make it more cleaner and more CSS stylish. So basically this is how you can make a random quote or random joke generator, like that joke generator projects you have seen. You can make using this DOM manipulation. The only thing you need to do is fetching data from an API. So after covering our text content, it's time to cover inner HTML. Inner HTML property allows us to update the content of an HTML element with both text and HTML markup. In your text content, you didn't have the flexibility to modify the HTML tags like h1, h2, button, but inner HTML gives you the flexibility to modify this also, like HTML tag also. It provides you more flexibility to insert or modify content from untrusted sources, right? So it is more flexible and it is equally useful like our text content. We will learn inner HTML using extensive examples like we did with text content. We will use real life examples, so get ready for the examples. In my VS Code editor, I have made a new file named innerhtml.js because in index.js we already have enough content related to text content. So in inner HTML, I have linked it to my index.html. I haven't created a new HTML file because it was not needed. So let's just start with first example. Learning with examples make your learning very beginner friendly and very interactive also. So yes, first example will be like creating a list. So basically you have an HTML file where I am giving a div hashtag because I am defining it as a ID container, and this is list container, right? And now what you want to do, you have to insert a list there by using JavaScript dynamically. So it comes in hand, it comes handy when you are fetching something from your API and you want to insert it as a list item, right? In your text content you can do it, but it wasn't like you can create a HTML element, but now you can create HTML element or tags also. So let's just jump to our inner HTML.js file and quickly access our list container div document.getElement by ID. Here I am accessing my list container div by using document.getElement by ID list container I have named it something like this. I am hoping that I am doing it correct. Yes, I am doing it correct. Now, next will be, let's just think that you have items in an array, and let's just name it item 1, item 2, and item 3. So item 2, item 3, item 4, item 5. This is like your items, and you want to show them as list items on your browser, on your web page. Now what you will do, you will define another variable which will be holding this. Let list HTML equals to, I am giving it UL. Right. Now what does this UL do? This UL do nothing. It is just for declaring that it is an UL element. It will get clear. Let me just first write the further code first. So what we'll do, items dot. Now we are iterating over our items. For each item there is a callback function. What it will do, it will be making list HTML. It will be adding this every element to this list HTML which we have declared above, our unordered list. And what it will do, it will create an li, which is list item again, and our item will go under this li item and close my list item. Okay, maybe it is not that clear right now. It will get cleared. Just give me 1 second more. List HTML will be equals to, yes, this, and list container dot inner HTML is equals to list HTML. So what is happening there? Nothing is happening there. Basically we have accessed our list container div and then container div, and then we have defined an array which is containing our items, our dummy items, and basically we are here. The most confusing part is this. So basically what I'm doing here is we are defining an HTML and variable which is initializing an unordered list, and we are iterating over these items to create list items. So basically this loop is just creating list from these items, list tag of HTML from these items, and after it complete iteration we are doing what, we are overwriting this HTML, list HTML, and we are closing it with this unordered list. After this we are changing inner HTML of this container by assigning it to our list HTML. So let's just see if we get the output or not. We are getting our output as supposed to be. So this is how you can get a dynamic list from your HTML, from your API or something.